He clutched up like crazy, and that's a lot of what Chap's role in the team is. He gets his two insane solo players to end game and just leaves them healthy and seeing what they can do, and it paid off massively there. But I don't want him to have to rely on that every single game, you know? You kind of want to be able to see it still be a little bit. It shouldn't have to be a clutch factor as much, not to take away from their win, because they're definitely figuring something out and things are going a lot better, and it was a good performance. I want to see this team keep up the consistency, and we were worried about them today as well, because it looked like Game 6 yesterday, they were contested, Monster, so we thought we might have another team do that, as we're shooting back into Miro, who's not normally contested. Miro is almost fallen, though. Day going super ham here with the green burst rifle, doing some ridiculous damage, and it looks like we got Clarity's team now contesting outwardly into Dirty Dogs, and he takes down Mikey too. We talk about how Miro is the firepower of this team, but it's looking like Day didn't like that one.
Hey man, Day's equally as dangerous. You can see him following up here. They're gonna wipe up Niddle as well, and what a clean drop right there. What is up with Mikey, Clarity, and Niddle playing such a flex drop on the coast? I mean, they found a lot of success on the retail row side. It seems like that's what I was going to say, the eviction.
Right now, they are back. Aspect is so crazy because they were gone, right? They were rotating out. And they're like, wait a second. They're coming into Authority, and they come straight back. This team is almost conditioning this, not as a drop, but as a rotation point. I have a feeling Bank, Narwhal are going to be like, okay, next time, let's just go wide of Authority. Let's not go in there. It's not worth the material, because the amount they've now invested in a player's going down, and Aspect is going for this one. He is playing aggressive, but Narwhal fighting back, though. Gets the knock on to Endpen, a 180. Oh my god, Narwhal. Okay, never mind. You can rotate through Authority anytime you want. He is proving insane in his box fights right now. He was on the back foot, all aggression coming forward, and he hit his shots.
I mean, Endpen already surprised us once with the Kanata standoff, but now Narwhal showing that he can do the same. Big shots left and right here, and it's going to be an upgrade as well. They were below the Storm Surge, not anymore. Now they're way up and above it here with two insane hits. And now look at the follow-up here. The floor is broken into. Yes, he's going to jump down, and it's a three-peat for Narwhal. 5 eliminations.
Yeah, the story here is kind of changing. We're not having new faces on top, and necessarily we're having new faces on top, but they're teams we'd expect, right? We're not seeing Zayd up there. We're not seeing Bucky, Kriya, Kanata. We're now starting to see Chap's team come up big in this day. XZ's team coming up big with a huge wipe and so much loot. So they're not underperforming names. They're not underdogs by any means, but they're players that we've expected to do well that haven't in previous weeks or tournaments, who are now finally finding their purchase, finally getting into the groove of things and just making things work here. But I think Zayd's going to try and clap back this game, as they're in a good position unless something goes wrong, and a team that's been a bit underwhelming. I know they were actually Reese's pick as well, who has been picking winner after winner. Edgy, Scented, and Commandment.
But it's so close right now. Top 15 bubble is so tight. It's 65 points to break on in and fly upwards. And I mean, most of these teams you're looking at is hovering right around that 90 to 60 point threshold.
Yeah, one of those teams at that threshold that I saw there on the panning shot that I really want to see them continue to today is Oliver OG, Pulse Onyx, and Larson. We talked about them yesterday. They're currently in top 10. This is their first time making the finals, and a team that I think not a lot of people would have put money on to qualify straight into the heats at getting top 15. So hopefully they can continue that, because I don't know whether they'll have the consistency in future weeks, but either way, I love seeing the 12-round format for those teams that make the finals to get so much experience. You get 12 games playing in Storm Surge lobbies, which is just... it's unmatched. It is so valuable to a team, and their progression as Coop goes in right now, but Chap has fallen, and Fishy is currently knocked, and Coop has to try and get them up, and it's not looking good for a team that started to find a bit of purchase here today.
Yeah, definitely here, and all of a sudden they go from the top averaging second and third place to now being down a member. Chap already crossed out, but I mean, we've seen this situation before. It was literally what happened in the previous run. This time around, though, the Storm Surge is going to exit with Chap as well here, as they are 61 damage below, and now they have to figure something out. Okay, things change, though, as players get dropped, and now they find themselves above, but for how long? How safe will they be? 9 players have to get taken out this lobby, so they are not safe by any means, and the zone's only closing in now.
I don't know what extra meds they have. If they had some decent meds, Coop and Fishy, we've talked about it. Scary players, very mechanical. They've got a bit of extra shield. With those peppers, if they can kind of keep a low profile, get some tags here and there, and get their damage coming into endgame, they could still control the low ground in a pretty big way right now. They've got Chap still in their ear who's going to be leading them, telling them what to do and where to go, which could help massively, but they're now in a bad spot getting focused, as this zone is going to be a lot about luck. They've all kind of set up and purchased on the edges of these terrains and these areas of landmass. If it goes to the area that you're not on and you don't have shockwaves, this rotate's going to get very ugly. There is nothing to hide behind except for enemy builds.
Yeah, that's the major problem with the water, is the fact that it is just flat out in the open terrain, right? There's nothing to hide behind, as you mentioned. And I mean, it's literally like a faction. It's this side or that side, and it seems like it's going to land on the authority side. The western side is going to be the pull here as Coop gets taken out and completely thirsted by Paper. So Paper managed to survive the Steamy Stacks drop this time around. Remember, the last round was also a little close, but Fishy jumps down. The full thirst as well, so he's got that one. That's all him.
Yeah, Paper didn't survive for long, but it just shows that all it takes is one player. All Paper did was make it away from Steamy as a solo, and he's already affected the storyline massively, as you talked about the factions and who Fishy, unfortunately choosing the wrong one. He's on the other side of this water. He's on the other side of this absolute firing range, and he's building through and trying to keep a low profile on the bottom side. If who Fishy could pull this off, it would be ridiculous. He's made it across, so he's behind those builds, and he can maybe make his way through, but he is so weak right now, and if he can pull something out of this game, it would be insane. Who Fishy, one of the best solo players, insane clutches, but no, he falls there, and honestly, a tall ass for him as both his teammates had already fallen, as we're getting a pretty exciting end game, and I'm looking at teams that are on top of authority now to be in a really good position for this one.
Yeah, that was the last straw there. There's nothing you can do. He drew the short end for sure. As we tune in with Scented Edgy Commandment, all of a sudden now we're actually getting some good airtime for them because they're alive, right? They're alive, and like I said, they've been just outside of top 10. They're very much almost in the top 15. These are the teams we want to also keep an eye out on, right? It's the top 15. That is the breakout performance. We haven't emphasized enough, I feel like, that these are the guys battling, right? And it matters most for players that didn't qual through week one, as that's the pressure they're facing here. So it means so much more for them to end very, very high right now. Scented's trying to make his way out here. Someone's in the water. Great tags. But it is just a matter of trying to get in front of the storm line. They're running out of materials, so this might be a fight they're going to want to conclude on. Yeah, this player's a solo here. He's going to get tracked down. 113 follow-up, Aussie. It's not looking good, as they're going to triple man inside the box here. And yeah, he's boxed up. He's in the backside. As long as they don't get tagged too hard here, that should be a free frag for them.
But 13 above, they need some damage here. He got 100 tag on that, and that still only just put them above. So they haven't managed their Storm Surge too well here. And you said it best, they don't have really great material. So I'm seeing the shockwaves, and I'm thinking maybe they get their high ground moment. But again, they went back below. I think that damage will put them above again, but they are not in a dominant position here unless they can get a bit of damage or a big refresh very soon. And I'm seeing them tapping out on top of the Exet team beneath them. That's going to be a tough reset. I'm seeing Clicks and Bizzle down there as well. So they've got some tough teams around them. They have to try and get their refresh on.
Oh, it's a battle for high ground, though. Zate's going up to battle Stretch, and Sass on the other side getting some pressure down. Booga, Jamper, and Avery actually conclude. They give up the high ground. They concede downwards, and they give it up. So now all of a sudden, you have Zate and company on height here. Remember, they were still in first place. They had quite a comfortable lead, even after throwing away another game. Now, though, in the low, it's Bizzo and Click still alive here, and Clicks finds a big X and B, and that's going to be the conclusion. Onto Edgy as well. He follows up. What a big shot.
That's a big shot, and that might be exactly why this team has lost Illest. Maybe it was that fight for high ground. It could have been 3 teams going for it. The 3 teams that we've seen having insane performances from high ground, and that's what they do best. And unfortunately, all 3 of them were set up ready and healthy to take it this end game. So it seems like Zate, the kings of high ground, have managed to beat them out for it. But Clicks and Bizzle aren't out of this yet. Right now, this is a team that's played together a lot. Clicks' firepower and Bizzle's brain power is a match that you don't want to run up against, even as a duo, as they're in this mid-ground layer. Avery's still picking up eliminations. I still see Kanata in the feed as well. Exet was in there. So we've got some big trios setting up to make big plays. But unfortunately, if you're doing it as a duo, it's going to be sketchy. 9 builds here for Clicks. He has 4 eliminations. He has to find another one soon. And this is what Clicks does best. He's looking for Bizzle. He's trying to find him. But this is where Clicks thrives. Trying to find these angles. Trying to take these box fights. He's almost out of builds. That's it. 1 left. And unfortunately, Bizzle's on the backside. They're back together. But how can Clicks find this? It's up to him right now. There it is. He finds Voil. It's only a matter of time when you watch Clicks. He's going to find someone and he's going to take them out. And he's going to keep pushing forward. 77 tag, has the crash pads. He has to leave Bizzle. No, he finds his way back to Bizzle. Clicks is just doing work on the backside, just getting this refresh, working so hard to get this team back into it. Beautiful double crash pad, but man, they're fighting an uphill battle here, Monster.
And now it's a low ground battle too. Clicks has to continue, but no, he's finally going to get stopped. Finally put at the red light there for a second on high ground. Give you guys the big picture. It's Stretch, Saf, and Zate. You let them run away from Doom's domain. They'll take that high ground if you give them the opportunity to. And that's what they're doing here now. Blake did catch Avery as well, so that means Booga and company are out of the game as Nanolite Scented now falls as well. These are massive frags for Stretch on height here. 4 eliminations for the high ground hold, and only 3 other enemies enemies remain now as we're approaching the final moments here. And you can see it's a 3v3 on the low ground here, Aussie.
It's a full trio down there, and
Oh
he takes
my
it down
gosh.
a 200 pump on a Narwhal. We've seen how dangerous this team can be earlier, proving that his fight at Authority paid off. They've gotten second place, but can they get the win? Narwhal's gone down, but can Zlem and Bank do something? Saf's out in Storm, though. They're trying to take this fight out to the low ground. Zlem fails as well. So Zayt, Saf, and Stretch are moving their way down, though. Stretch goes down, but it comes down to Stretch and Saf. Zayt was out of there, but it didn't matter. Stretch is flexing the build, and they get the win. We were expecting them to get a few games ago, and I called them, man. If this team's healthy coming into end game, high ground's just probably not the play.
Speechless is my word that it's this consistent overall over 2 days. No one's really been able to catch up and make it a sub 10-point differential from first to second place.
And something that we've actually not seen too much from today is Unknown's trio coming 23rd, 15th, and then 24th again. So maybe in the later half of today, they're going to catch up again and maybe claim for that second place or even the first place slot.